If you were ultra rich, what frivolous service would you pay for? I'd hire actors to really fuck with my coworkers, friends, family, etc. Like if I was ultra rich, I'd obviously leave my current job to focus on experiencing my dope billionaire lifestyle. But I wouldn't just give my 2 weeks and leave all vanilla. No, this is where the actors come in. I'd wait until we are back in the office after this quarantine. When things are back to normal, I'd just plan this whole thing to go off flawlessly. So there I am, in my office, surrounded by my coworkers. And then this loud buzzing sound starts. It's a helicopter. Really loud, like it's right next to the building. Me and my coworkers go to the window and there is a Black Hawk civilian model S-76, but painted black to look military helicopter landing in the parking lot, in full view of the office. Everyone is now at the window checking it out. As it lands in that parking lot, a caravan of blacked-out SUVs roll up to the building's front door simultaneously. Out of the helicopter, 4 hot model women in badass outfits hop out, and join the guards, full suits and earpieces and fake weapons, and come up to my office. The women are like Charlie's Angels type badass, and smoking hot. They come in, after the guards secure the building and radio that it's all clear. The lead woman comes in and goes to reception, asks for me. They approach me, flanked by guards, in front of everyone. Your country needs you, and I respond, I left that life behind. I promised my fiancé I wouldn't do wet work anymore. I'm riding a desk, Babs. She pushes further. We need you. Site Sigma Lima just went dark. And still I protest. I can't get Johnson to do it. But sir, Johnson was there when it went dark. And I relent, damn it, not Johnson. Let's go. Then I get flanked by the Angels, who are then flanked by the guards, and we move out, with the guards loading up the SUV, and the Angels and I loading into the helicopter. SUVs peel out, and the helicopter lifts off, heads out over the horizon. Then, I never talk to my coworkers again. I have another guard actor come a week or 2 later for my personal effects, and that's that. I leave them wondering, WTF was that? For life. And I'd be a legend for those people forever. An international man of mystery. You have definitely put thought into this before, haven't you? Oh, for sure. I've even priced it out a little bit. Just need the billion to roll in and I'll get it done. When I was a kid, what I wanted to do was hire my enemies to do degrading menial jobs, but pay them enough that they'd willingly put up with it. Today, I'm not really sure what my answer would be. Someone to clean up after my husky puppy. Also, a husky puppy. Custom-made, tailored clothing. I don't have to worry about what I'm going to wear every day because I know what I'm going to look like and they always have my size. Maybe some days I want to go business casual or maybe some days I want to go full-on wizard in robes. The possibilities are limitless. I would buy the distribution rights to all the 80s, 90s, 2000s TV shows I liked that were never released on DVD or streaming and put them out in HD, mostly so I can watch them. Someone to wake me up really nice and gently in the morning. Like turning the lights red, opening the blinds maybe, setting a cup of coffee next to me. And then that same person to tuck me in at night. I can't think of a better frivolous service. Hire a personal barber to come to my house to cut my hair. This way, I'd avoid making incredibly awkward small talk, which, for some reason, is not only acceptable but expected at the barber shop, which is truly awful for those who are more introverted. I'd also be able to avoid the anxiety of explaining how I want my hair cut and the ensuing hatred of said haircut. So, yay, I'd hire my own personal barber whose job is to 1. Come to my house so I don't have to travel to a barber shop, 2. Learn and memorize how I like my hair to be cut, and 3. Not talk. I'm a simple man. I'd pay someone to follow me around carrying a briefcase with something inside. So at any time I can say briefcase and get the number 42 out. A personal assistant. I really hate going to the post office, grocery shopping, getting my car washed, and filling it up, and other fiddly errands of that nature. If I had the money I'd definitely pay someone else to do that shit for me. I wanna be the assistant. I was an executive assistant for a bit and running errands and making someone's demands happen at no cost to me was awesome. All the power, none of the pressure to do anything other than simple tasks. I always wanted to live in a blimp. It would be an old-fashioned looking dirigible, like from the 19th century but modern behind all appearance with a balcony and floor section made in plexiglass for the view. Like people living on a boat, but better. What I want is a battleship. So on the outside it looks like a battleship but on the inside it's a decked-out yacht. If that's too big I'll settle for a destroyer or something. Hire SpaceX to fly a secret mission to Mars, a small robot rover, that must sneak up to Curiosity and plant some junk around, some empty pop cans, and a dinosaur skull maybe. Also have spy cams installed at NASA and monitor their reaction. Still wouldn't be YouTube Premium. When I die, clicking that skip trial button will be the thing that I will have done most often in my life. Probably already is actually. So probably not as frivolous as some, but wherever I lived, I would pay for a bakery underneath me if I lived in a rise downtown or something, or a neighborhood bakery if I lived in a regular house. Nothing beats having fresh bread daily. Ever had hot rolls first thing in the morning? Or a daily loaf of bread? In Europe I used to get freshly baked bread on the regular, and I don't care how much it would cost, if I were a millionaire that would be on the list. A distant, low rumble of thunder every time someone said my name. Failing that, probably an air fryer from Costco. Dude, I got my wife an air fryer from Costco a while ago, I think it was like $80. Not too expensive at all. Slow down, Mr. Moneybags. Let me just dip into my retirement savings. I would buy as much property in Alabama as possible until eventually I own most of the state, evict everyone, move in some people on the streets of San Fran, propose to change the laws concerning child marriage and abortion, offer housing back to the Alabama people once new laws have passed. Triple-ply toilet paper. I'm a two-ply guy now. I'd have a real English butler. Pay him $150,000 a year plus provide room and board and expenses. Let him set up ma parties, offer wise advice, and pick out my threads so I'd be fly. I'd have my own personal chef. I love good food but cooking can be a bit of a hassle sometimes. Also if the chef is ordering all the ingredients and cooking all the food it would make it a lot easier to eat healthy and stick to diets. I would actually prefer to have a sous chef instead of a chef, that way I can do every fun part and have them do all prep work. Plus have them clean the dishes and come up with new ideas for food and shopping on my behalf. Best of all worlds. You are thinking of a prep hand cook. A sous chef is the number 2 and is basically the equivalent of an assistant manager. A prep cook cuts up everything and cooks basic stuff while the sous chef does most of the advanced work and day-to-day management. The executive chef is the guy that mostly oversees everything and only does the really important stuff like cooking for a special guest while making sure everyone is doing everything correctly as his main day-to-day job. So worked at a Michelin star restaurant and the executive chef almost never cooked anything. Only time I ever remember seeing him cook was when super important people were in like US senators or he was trying something new. He also made me a lamb dish when I told him I didn't like lamb. Guy loves lamb and took it very personally, insisting I never had proper lamb. Some places incorrectly referred to their prep cooks as sous chefs. So got super mad when she was a sous chef and people assumed she was a pleb even though she was in charge of almost all day-to-day operations. There is also the title of head chef, which is typically in between the executive chef and the sous chef. Often the head chef is the highest-ranking person that works at the actual restaurant while the executive chef may run multiple restaurants. I would pay random homeless guys to shit on the doorsteps of my enemies every morning. I mean, you don't have to be rich to do that. Someone that isn't rich doesn't tend to have that many enemies. Speak for yourself. If you want, you can make a bunch in just an afternoon. I would build a lecture hall at Harvard, use my money and influence, have them make me a professor. I often stand on a soapbox and give random, what I refer to as lectures, to my friends and family. I use this as an opportunity to speak on any random topics I want. I once gave a 30-minute lecture, while waiting in an airport with my family, about gummy bears while eating a bulk bag of like 20 different flavors. Along the same lines, I've decided that if I win the lottery, I'm not going to quit my job. I'm going to start speaking my mind until I get fired. That would take me all of about 20 minutes, 15 of which would be me laughing before I said what I wanted to. After that, you gotta buy the company for shits and giggles. Oh gosh, you just gave me a new dream. I'm going to start speaking my mind until I get fired. What if you get promoted instead, but still hate the job? That's a movie I'd want to watch. I haven't gotten around to writing it, but I had an idea for a story along those lines. The conflict is that the guy's immediate supervisor knows he's trying to get fired, and figures the best punishment is to not fire him. So he ramps it up to try and get fired. Then there's a small group of people who are happy he's doing all of this and he gets a following. I would buy art off the black market. Then I'd hire a forger to make a really good copy of the works, hang those in my home, and donate the real art to museums. It's a travesty that so many pieces are lost in private collections. Also, I'd commission a portrait of myself, very glamorized but older and uglier and cruel looking, and I would hide it in my attic covered by a single sheet, the stairs to which would be rigite next to the guest room. A little tribute to Oscar Wilde, and I get to fuck with my friends. Instead of having a $100,000 watch, I'd just pay a butler to follow me around and tell me what time it is. Excuse me, Winston, what is the time? The time is 11:30, sir. Thank you, Winston. My pleasure, sir. Then I'd hand him a crisp 20. You want to talk about having a timepiece as a status symbol? I got it. WinRAR. You wouldn't dare. You heard it on herddit.radio. Thank you for listening and we hope to see you next time.